Yes, Anubhav, so I'll do it. Ma'am, you're able to see my screen, right, ma'am? Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah, thank you. Right. Okay. A very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome you all to the third day session from College to Corporate, Designing a Career Path. Respected Dr. Seema Ghosh, Coordinator, Career Guidance and Placement Cell. Our guest speaker for today, Mr. Anubhav Tiwari, Head Deep Tech IIIT Hyderabad, and all the members of CGPC, faculty members, and all my dear students. Welcome to the third session on College to Corporate, Designing a Career Path. It is said, I, Varala Ashwini, member of CGPC, warmly welcome you for this session. It is said that when life knocks you down, roll over and look at the stars. That's the spirit of being an entrepreneur. And that's how we stay hungry for innovation and positivism in business. And our CGPC cell is actually focusing on developing this entrepreneurial pursuit among the students by arranging a session on entrepreneurship as a career. It's not all easy to be an entrepreneur, but I would like to say entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So today we have with us Mr. Anubhav Tiwari, Head Deep Tech IIIT Hyderabad. So a quick introduction of Sir. Anubhav is currently working with Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at IIIT Hyderabad and heads the Deep Tech Incubator there. He has been recently appointed on the committee of Indian Oil Startup Fund, an initiative of Indian Oil Corporation. He is also the Hyderabad City lead for Head Start Network Foundation. He is the chair of India HCI 2019, an international conference on human-computer interaction. Anubhav is on board of Indiewood International Film Festival as well. He was the CEO of Association of MSc in IT. He is also the co-founder and former COO of the Entrepreneur Zone TES. He is the founder of Virtual Slabs. Apart from this, Anubhav volunteers with various organizations and is in the organizing team, Tech Startup Weekend, TEDx Hyderabad. He has presented papers on neuromarketing and role of microfinance in developing into micro enterprises, a study of Guntur district in AP in international conference. He is working currently on paper titled, Does Female Founding Members Impact Startups? Impact performance of startups. So thank you so much, Anubhav sir, for actually accepting our request and throwing some light on entrepreneurship as a career for our students. So I would like to go ahead and start the session, sir.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Ashwini and Dr. Seema, for all the help. I mean, it's always pleasure to get back to students and have been to Bhavan's couple of times, though it was mostly it has been offline event, but due to current situation and pandemic, we have to move to this thing. So I'll quickly run through the presentation and more of my, my slides doesn't usually have a lot of content to it, but while talking about it, definitely I try to cover as much as I can. So please don't hesitate to shoot your questions, because interactive thing is more. I have been on the other side also, so I know how difficult and boring these webinars sometimes become. So just students, small request, don't hesitate in questioning anything that you want to ask, and that is anything that you have a question with. So to start with, we were to talk about entrepreneurship as a career. See, it's about your choices that you make. I mean, it's not a easy thing also, and not a very something that you should be scared of. What is entrepreneurship, and how this whole thing is defined is nothing new. The concept is nothing new. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the concept is nothing new. So who is an entrepreneur? Somebody who has that problem solving ability to understand what exactly goes into when you start an enterprise, and basically a business. So business has been there since ages, since centuries, since so it's not something new that is coming up. It's all about the mindset change that the society needs to accept an entrepreneur also, as we accept any doctor, engineer, any inter team member or joining a big corporate. In that same way, entrepreneurship is also celebrated. It's one of the biggest gift that the society can give to the newer generation, accepting them if they want to choose their career as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is someone who designs an enterprise to solve problems that can impact the lives of masses. So that is the direct definition of entrepreneurship. Now coming to entrepreneurship, what is entrepreneurship now? Somebody like Satya Nadella, or somebody like if you can take someone like Sundar Pichai. These people are entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, you are in an organization. You are not the founder, or you are not the one who designed the organization, but currently it is the whole the whole strength and everything lies on your shoulder, and you are the one who will be responsible for the decision making and all. Like, if you might have seen, whenever something either legal or anything is coming across, you won't see Larry Page and Sergey Brin coming to the discussions. It's always Sundar Pichai now, because he is the face of Google right now. So entrepreneur is someone who basically within the organization grows to the ladder and takes new divisions and run it independently. All these things are dependent on how innovative thinking you have, and this is not something that someone is born with. It's a trait that you learn from your mistakes. You keep evolving, and you seeing the trend where it is where it is going, like what exactly needs to be done, what exactly, if you don't innovate, you'll be washed out of the market. And one of the biggest examples that everyone quotes is basically Kodak. They 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 never uh, you know they never mm, uh, they never basically uh, thought of that. Sometime after some time, the camera rolls won't exist in the market, and everything will be all everything will be digital, and they didn't innovate in that way. And that is the reason you don't see Kodak. And during the early I mean, before the 90s, they were the one who were the most effective player in that particular segment, in the camera segment, and they were known for that. And it was kind of a monopoly. But that whole thing of not innovating and getting obsolete as per the market change is what basically got their downfall. So there are a bunch of books that you can, I mean, or I know you already have to read a lot in your academic side, but there are a bunch of books by Jim Collins that you can read, How the Mighty Fall and all. And you'll see that it's not that you get an overnight success. That overnight success goes through lot of things that is beyond the projections that is seen after you reach that certain success. Like one of the biggest startups of success that is all over the news. I'll take a pause here. Can anyone say which particular startup is right now an Indian startup which is all over the news? You can post your things in the chat box. Which particular startup is currently all over the news, and why? I'll just take a 1 minute pause just to see if all of you are with me, or I'm like boring you. So if you can quickly, any one of you, which particular startup is right now all over the news, and why is it so? Anyone? Come on, take it a shot. Okay.
So someone has Amit Venkat has messaged it is Zomato.
Zomato. Okay. Anyone else?
Students, you can message directly to everyone,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
directly
On
to
the
me.
everyone channels. Yes.
Yeah,
Somehow.
I see Oyo Byju's.
Oyo and Baiju.
Byju's. Yes, sir.
I guess the messages are going to you directly.
Yes,
So,
directly.
okay.
Students,
Anyone else? Anyone else? Zomato, Baiju's, and others. Anyone? Udan. Okay, good. Just last week.
Cult Fit.
Just last week. I mean, it was a major success for something. Just last week it happened.
So other messages are Cult Fit, Ola.
Okay. Yeah, those are those definitely they were in news, but I'm trying to okay, Shruti is asking me a back question. Yeah, Udano was there, but Dunzo, no, not Dunzo. That was like trending all over Twitter a couple of days back. Vandana Reddy, Baiju's. Yeah, Baiju's has been all over the news, but recently, just one, not even 1 week, like it was celebrated by every every ecosystem that startup has grown big. Okay, I don't know. Uh, uh, Ms. Ashwini, are you getting some messages?
No, sir, that's it. Ola was the last one.
Okay, okay. So all of you just Google something called Fresh Desk. Okay, and why it was so famous and all over the news was recently it got listed on Nasdaq. Okay, the only SaaS Indian SaaS company, SaaS means software as a service, the only SaaS company that got listed on the stock market, US stock market Nasdaq, and all that happened in just 10 years. All that happened in just 10 years, and from starting at a humble beginning in Trichy, this company went on to become one of the largest competitors to Zendex and Salesforce. So that is the power of current the current ecosystem that is there to support you. Now, the whole idea then that as I was defining what defines an entrepreneur and what it takes to become an entrepreneur, the whole idea right now is to see how big a problem is and how much are you solving. If the problem is big enough, many people will jump up and take your product and service. Freshdesk is the only company that started with nothing free. Like from the first customer, they had paid customer. There was no such thing as free, and all this happened because the founder of Freshdesk, who was earlier VP of product and working in Zoho, another big startup from Sridhar Vembu and Kumar Vembu, he was working there as a VP. And then in one fine day, he was traveling from US to India, and television that was delivered, he ordered a television along with him, and it came in the luggage, was broken, and he continuously tried to reach and I'm talking about US, not India. He continuously tried to reach the service support desk in the US for these whatever the TV was broken and all that, but no, neither anyone was picking up the call, nor anyone was replying to the messages. And when he took it to Twitter, that's when he got he started getting some acknowledgement from the company which was responsible for the broken delivery of the television. So what happened is that very moment he realized that if I am in such pain, there might be many people in such pain where you don't have a effective dashboard which can help customers with their issues without human intervention in the first 2 3 phases. There should be someone to listen to you. That's how the whole idea of Fresh Desk. It is nothing but a help desk tool which came into picture. And that time there were many big players in the market, but all of them, if you go back to Twitter when they were doing these things, there was a tweet that just few Indian cowboys trying to work around things, and those few Indian cowboys, Girish Mathubhum is the name of the founder. He replied to that tweet that, you know what, someday you will come to know what we are doing. And Fast forward 10 years, that company is got listed on NASDAQ. So that's the journey, and it's not always rosy. There is a support system that is needed. There is a there is all kind of mentoring and other things that you need to basically uh, thrive in your entrepreneurship journey. You might say that, what, parents don't allow, or teachers say that it's not a easy thing to choose entrepreneurship as a career, because there was no
Like you're
support,
an entrepreneur, also.
because there is no support system as such, which basically give them the confidence, your peer group the confidence. Okay, if you jump into this, like if you want to do computer science today, one of the best institutes in India are there. If you want to pursue your career in medical, there are many institutes. But what about entrepreneurship? Do you have that kind of support ecosystem? So couple of years back it was not there, so people used to learn from their failures and all. Now coming to the now, there is lot of support system. Mentors are there, regional communities, like you can name CII, Confederation of Indian Industries, or Head Start Network, or Techstars, which organizes Startup Weekend. You might be aware of these kind of ecosystem, these kind of enablers, corporates, donors, incubators are there, accelerators are there, investors are there, evangelists are there. Now all this complete the support ecosystem that you need. But at the end, it's your baby, it's your car, you have to drive. So this whole ecosystem was not there, where you can look up to that. Okay, if I want to become an entrepreneur, do I need, what kind of things that I need? All this is available now, and we are seeing a major career shift happening. A lot of people are post college, are trying to work on the idea during the college also. I would say it's not a good idea to run a startup while you are studying, because it eats a lot of your time and you can't do two things at the same time. So it's better that post college you start something, and always good to work at some place to understand, the communication style, how you engage with team, how you work around teams. So those things basically help you to in your startup journey, that okay, this is what I need to do. Now, next slide, please. Now, if I have to ask, like, what is a startup? I mean, how does it all start? Like, this is as I told you, this is nothing new that is happening, and it has always been like this. And I mean, there has been entrepreneurs. The fundamental difference that I personally feel, and this is my opinion, is like the scale at which it can grow. Now, if you have some crores of rupees, and if you want to put it in Ratnadeep, how many stores they can open? Maybe two, three around the city. But if those two, three crores, if you push in a concept called big basket or grofers, they will cover several cities and states. So that's the penetration that a startup has. That's the scale at which it operates, and that's when you inject the support, the coverage or the impact is much beyond than a brick and mortar store. So that's the whole idea. The startups are innovative enough to scale fast. If you see, most of the billionaires coming in India, or a millionaires coming in India, are in past 10, 20 years. Before that, there were very few family run businesses from where you used to get this kind of support, where you hear of, oh, okay, this person has become scaled his company very fast, or whatever. So Reliance took 30, 40 days. Tata is there since 150 days. But what about Ola within 10 years? What about Freshdesk? Also, not more than 10 years. Zomato, others, all these people who are all these startups that are making their employees wealthy enough, making their founders wealthy enough, taking the company's valuation, raising a lot of investments. All this is the scale at which a startup can grow. So that is the difference between a traditional business and a startup. Now, how to start a startup, right? What it goes into. So you have to plan it from keeping the future in mind, right? Now think about it. If somebody has planned something for COVID, okay, COVID is going to be there for some time, but it will go away after that. So if you don't innovate, if you don't innovate, or if you don't, if all your solution or all your thing was related to pandemic, what if there is no pandemic? Then that means you don't have a business model. So you need to see what is missing, how you can innovate it, and then have that idea, bounce it through few people, bounce it through few people who have been in the journey and know the journey well, and then start making a prototype. Presentations don't get you customers and funding. The actual product or prototype does. When you launch the prototype, people see it. Okay, so say for instance, if you're developing a luxury car, but the whole idea is what you should have a chassis with 4 wheels attached to it, and showing that this is how it will move. The fancy stuff will come later. But if you say on a piece of paper, that what, I want to make a car, nobody gives a damn about it. You need to have that working model in place. Then you take it to few people, you test it across and see whether it is working. If there are few glitches, you iterate. Second, then one very important point is you should have a co-founder. I mean, co-founders define the are very good to have, because they are the ones, if you are not around, who can help, who can also run the company. Because if you are the only one, tomorrow if something happens to you, the company will come crashing down and all the employees will be on roads. So you always need 2 3 co-founders who knows the business exactly in the same way you do, who have been there from the beginning with you, and whom you can rely upon. If you are not around, those two can take care of that. If one of them are not there, the other two can take care of it. So it's always good to have a good mix of founder, where one guy's strength might be technology, the other guy's strength might be sales, the other guy's strength might be in basically people management and all that. Now, when all these things is done, you should register a company. There are various kind of companies. There is a slide here. I won't cover that whole slide. You can read it across. There are a bunch of companies, types of companies which you can register. Now, once you have done that, this whole fancy thing about raising funding. Raising funding is not a success metrics for a startup. There are companies like MailChimp and others who have never raised ever. They bootstrap. They scale their company with the revenue. So just because you have an idea, you shouldn't start reaching people. Hey, I have an idea. Can you get me an investor? That's one of the most foolish things that anyone can do. Ideas don't get funded. It's the people, the business, the model, the product, and the trust on the whole combination of these three that gets funding, not the a paper written on a paper napkin and showing people that this is what it is. Now, then once all those things is done, once you see that, okay, I have this much money, I have put in this much money in the company, I have taken this far, now I need funding to scale it. That's when you go for looking for funding. And that's when you actually start, seeing whatever whatever you can take care of. So now that once that is done, you do the launch. That was once you do the prototyping launch, then you do the main launch when the product is completely ready, and then you basically launch the product and take it to market and see how it is growing. If there is some issue, you iterate, and you, like example of if you say take example of Angry Bird, which you all have of course played. So Angry Bird was the 52nd game after failing for 51 times. The people that was the 52nd product of the company. So you have to keep evolving, keep trying, and that is how it will happen. Second, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So coming to the idea part of it now, idea, you will see a lot of pain points in and around you. So you see a lot of ideas in and around you that, okay, I'm facing this problem. There was someone who saw the problem of the problem of basically travel, where you have to go to the auto stand and you have to negotiate. You have to, then the person says, no, I won't go there. If I go there, I'll charge this much extra. There was someone many saw that problem, but the whole idea behind it was that how to make an effective solution to that. So somebody like, Travis Kalanick or or a Bhavesh Agarwal thought of, okay, what if we bring everything to the all these pain points and create one particular solution? That's how Ola and Uber happened. So there are many problem around it, but the idea is a good idea only if it is going to affect the masses. Now, if you design a problem only related to Bhavan's college, all your customer base is Bhavan's college, not beyond that. Beyond that, nothing is there. So if tomorrow Bhavan's doesn't use your services, you are gone. So your idea should be focusing on a smaller market and then scaling to a bigger market where you should. That is why you should always live in the future and see that, okay, where the trend is going and what all we can work on. Now, next slide. The people. So the I mean, see, this is one of the most important part, because startup journey is little tough where you don't directly get into you don't start getting salaries and all. It's not, yeah, so you have to get people who are thinking beyond their personal gains, and can work with the company even if in its toughest time. So it's not a hunky dory journey where every day is fun, every day is good. So it's basically, the whole idea is to see that right set of people who will be in the journey with you no matter what. So just because they are your very good friends, that doesn't define that they can be your partner in it. Are they going to, what if they have personal liabilities and they need some cash flow? What if they have taken an education loan? What if they have taken a house loan? They will need some cash flow. So what happens is, you need to understand who is the perfect mix for your company, not someone who has a daily job and then, yeah, doing part time with you, because startup is not part time. Startup takes a lot. So you need to be very particular who forms your initial set of team. Next slide, please. Now, coming to this, just because you like something that you have built, that doesn't mean that the consumers want it. You need to understand. Now, if you see MI launched its first phone in a very beta version, just to sense what all the customer wants. And as the customers started giving live feedback on the beta version of MI phone, which was launched in 2013 or 14, that's when they started building the product in line with the customers. So you need to understand your customer. Just because you say that what you have built is a cat, so what you have built is a tiger, and the customer feels it's a cat, you should understand that it's a cat because they are the one who are going to pay you. So you need to understand who is going to pay you for that, who are your right set of people around, nothing beyond that. So that should be particularly thought forward before entering them. You should understand your market. Just because you are seeing the pain point, that doesn't mean everybody has the pain point. So you should test it out and see what customers want. And once you understand your customers are the key players who will define your success. The more customers you have, the more valuation you get high valuation. You can raise a lot of funding. You can have trust of investors. Next slide, please. The legal entity, of course. Yeah, I mean, you can't just bunch of people form a WhatsApp group or run a company like that. You need a private limited or different type sets of company like an LLP or so, to run to basically get confidence of the investors and your customers. Like what is the legal entity? If you don't have anything, it's very difficult for people to trust on your portal or your solution and pay money for it. So of course, it's very necessary to have a legal entity in place. And that's how the company is defined. The legal entity itself is the company. Rest of you then become a part of the company. Next. These are simple steps to form a company. Any chartered accountant or company secretary can guide you with this, depending on what exactly you need, what kind of company. Sole proprietorship has one model where you are the sole owner of the company. Partnership, there are different partners, but still the liability is on the founders. and a one person company is there, private limited. Private limited is the best one because the liability on the people who have started is less. So say for instance, if the company is not performing well, that doesn't mean the legal entity, the legal action will be your house, since you are the founder, your house and everything which can be taken away. No, so that is the reason. It company and your personal identity are very different thing, and we should always choose to have a structure like that. Sole proprietorship and partnership is little risky. You can start within the initial days, but the whole liability is on the person who has started the company. Obtain a DIN, that is digital identification number, digital signature is reserve the company name, and then you define your what you are going to do with the company, what and who all will be the part of the company. Then once you apply that, you get a certificate of incorporation from the from the ministry, obtain a sealed bank account and all these. That's the whole, this process are the steps to start a company, and these things makes it more authentic and more legal and more, well organized way to monitor a business. Next, raising money. As I told you, you should raise money only when you need it, or else you will be spending it for reasons of unknown, like fancy office spaces and all that. Your initial days of raising money should only focus on your product and acquiring customers, nothing beyond that. Any fancy thing that you do is just waste of money in the initial days that when you are running your company. So when you are raising money, you should be very particular about, okay, I need to expand to this market, or I need this particular feature in my product, for which I need bunch of people, to hire bunch of people, and they come at a cost. So I need to raise money because my current revenues that I'm getting from customers won't allow me to expand beyond a certain point. So that is what it is. So raising money should only come when you actually see the need of it coming in. Next. What is the scope of entrepreneurship? It's very good right now. I would say that, like, a lot of support mechanism is there, a lot of government funds are there, a lot of money is being pumped in, a lot of programs, grants are there from government, incubators and accelerators. Okay, I'll quickly take what is the role of an incubator and accelerator. An incubator is basically covers three aspects of the business, where they provide infrastructure, they provide managerial services, and also they provide the community to you. How does these three things help you when you are looking, when you are a startup, two founder startup? You don't have that much money to buy a fancy office, neither you have time to. You should focus on your work. You shouldn't be focused on, okay, the tube light is not working, the AC is not working, the cloud mechanism is not working, or internet has some issues. So what incubator does, incubator takes care of all this for you. You just have to come, sit there and work from there. All other things are taken care from the infrastructure side of the incubator. Managerial, what kind of company you should register, how you are, what kind of share certificate, share allocation you should do, how you should raise, and if you're raising, at what valuation you should be raising. All these comes under the managerial services that an incubator provides. So the third is community, connecting you to investors, connecting you to corporate, helping you to launch your product. That's the community part of it. So an incubator helps in your startup journey in with all these things, and you where you have a relaxed mind and you already focus on your product or your service and your business, not on the other nitty gritty which eats up your time. The second thing that I told you is accelerator. Accelerator comes in a later stage where your product and everything is ready. You have initial set of customers, but you now need a quick growth to expand to different market with some money to it. So accelerator, you can Google Y Combinator is one of the good accelerators, and essays of Paul Graham. Essays of Paul Graham and Y Combinator will help you understand this more better, like when you should start, why you should start, and if you're starting, what all things you should keep in mind. So that is what you'll get some idea around it. So accelerator is a rapid program of 5 to 6 months, where the accelerator invests in the startup and takes it to different growth stages of the company. So that is how incubators and accelerators comes into the entrepreneurship journey for the people. So that kind of support mechanism is there. And as I told you, government and other corporates are also encouraging lots of startups. You will see there's I have seen personally there's a high trend of failed entrepreneurs getting hired by companies. So it's not like that life will end if everything will come crashing down if you don't have, if you don't become a successful entrepreneur. You can try it. You give it 2 3 years, see if it is not working. It's not like 6 months may didn't work out, oh, we should stop it. You should give it at least a year to understand where it is going, and then accordingly decide whether you want to continue with this, or it's not your cup of tea, or the market is not ready for the product that you have built. So once that is done, that's I mean, once you do that, that's exactly how you can understand the whole concept of like how basically one fundamental point that I might have missed is uh, it's not like there's a saying that many failed college grads are becoming good entrepreneurs. You should see from where they are failing. It's Harvard and Oxford. It's not like something happening around. So there's a lot of scope. There's a lot of things that you can do and work around it to basically understand. Okay, this is what it is, and then there are mentors and others who will help you in the journey. Next. So that's it. As I told you, I won't bore you much. They hope these are the things that I've covered. Now I'll be opening for question and answer. You can, I mean, depending on how your bandwidth is, either you can switch on your video and question me directly, or shoot your question. If just select everyone when you are, sending the questions, so that all of the people can understand what question has been asked, so they so that they also don't repeat it.
Students, if you have any questions, you can please raise your hand or you can post it in the chat window. Students who are raising hands, I will unmute you. Students, anyone, any doubts, you can please raise your hands. Any questions you all have, or you can post it in the chat window.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Dr. Uma. I'm a faculty in Bhavan's College.
Hello, Dr. Uma.
Yeah, sir. Sir, I have a doubt. Like, what is the requirement for starting an incubation center in the college?
See, it's all the support mechanism. Like there are bunch of subjects which you introduce slowly to the academic side of it, right? Say, for instance, now when the new technology, something like blockchain has come, which was not there existing earlier. So what you do is you basically take you basically work on what do we say? You basically work on igniting that thing slowly to the students. So now when the government is there, there was no support system earlier. A lot of students want to develop a product or change, trying to create a solution to problems. But what used to happen is that was scrap their ideas and go take whatever the parents are suggesting, of the new society's trend is there, they go and do it there. Now incubators are helping a lot in helping those ideas to flourish. Technology institution point of view, lot of academic research done by professors have a very high commercial potential value. Say, for instance, if you have developed a marketing model and during your PhD, and that can be implemented in companies to gain customers or to design their marketing strategies well. But the thing is that your interest for academic research was to because you are research oriented, you did that research, you did your PhD, you are happy, you went to your teaching because that is what gives you the happiness. Now,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean that the PhD that you have done doesn't have a potential in market. It has a lot. But who is going to do that? So bringing the academia, the corporate, and also the budding ideas together and taking it to market is also where incubators are helping big time. So a lot of our professors, research has been picked up by people, and they are building the product on the product or services depending on the research. So
Okay.
that helps the professor also some other thing interest connected with the market. On the other side, they don't have the founder doesn't have to develop from scratch. There is already a validated PhD or a research paper or something done around it, and incubators play a role in bringing all these pieces together to help the entrepreneurship ecosystem thrive.
Okay. So like what we thought is we wanted to start one in our college. So what is the requirement? Like what is required? Like there are already, we have a ED cell in the college actually. But then what is the difference between that incubation center means what is required? That is what I had a doubt.
ED cell is something like ED cell is something which, as I told you, it is the initial stage of igniting that entrepreneurship spark in people and making them understand, okay, what is business plan, what is business model, what how you organizing business plan, competition. That initial connect point is ED cell. But
Yes.
beyond that, it's not possible for a ED cell to flourish an idea, because you need infrastructure, you need mentors, you need investors, you need to invest in the startup, you need to provide
Okay.
that infrastructure to the startup. So that is beyond ED cells, this thing. So and now we are coming. Let me break it easy terms for you. Like
Yes.
nursery, LKG, UKG, all these classes are an ignite to the
Primary.
education system, but
Yes.
they can't be the sole basis of board exam. You Board exam is done by a different body altogether. It's not the school that does it. So school
True.
can ignite that thing. If school can take you through that process, but when you are going to different levels, you need different kind of infrastructure and support mechanism.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So the role
Thank
of
you.
EDCell is definitely the starting point, but yeah, beyond these certain activities, community activities, events, few
Mm.
master classes, it
Mm.
can't support beyond that.
Okay. Okay. Suppose
So
one of our students, they have a good idea, like what should we do? Like they have a business plan and it has to be implemented. Means how can we help them? What can
So
be done?
yeah, so that's what I mean. The role of incubator comes in that only. In the right now, since you have a ED cell, what you can do is connect to bunch of mentors who can help to validate ideas, or start organizing idea validation boot camps, which big institutions organize. If you don't have that bandwidth, let them organize it for you. Like Triple IT Hyderabad does idea validation boot camp. It is open for all. Anyone can attend it. There is a small seriousness fee to it, but anyone can attend it. But we also help colleges like IBS, IT, and others, where our team organizes the boot camp for their students so that the students can get their ideas validated. So once the idea validation is very important thing, because everyone thinks their idea is the best and nobody has done this. That's not the case. There are many, whatever we think, there are seven other people thinking the same thing. That's what the studies say. So
True.
idea to be validated, and who validates the idea, who knows the market, who has gone through the entrepreneurship journey. So and somebody like, so a government official can't validate the idea, right? The
Mm.
idea will be validated by people who basically has gone through that journey, who understand that journey, and that is the reason the idea validation boot camps are designed in a way that you get your ideas validated. And once you have got validated, then it comes to the next level. Okay, this is the kind of mentorship you need, this is the kind of this is the kind of guidance you need. And then depending on that guidance, what kind of guidance you need, if you have the bandwidth, you get it done. But or else you will have to have an incubator inside, where people
Okay.
are experienced for running the show.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
yes. So there's one question from Shanmuka Pavan. Sir, why is that Cred is spending so much on its ads? Like, in what way is it really impacting?
Okay, so if you see what Cred is doing right now, was the same model what Amazon was doing, but it started little early in 98, 99, whenever it started, and the customer acquisition in some business model requires a lot of spending for people to get the trust on, for people to look into, so acquiring customers initial stage, that's what I was saying, that sometimes you need funding to acquire customers. And it is like, if you remember, Ola and Uber in earlier days were giving free rides. You're not getting any free rides now. You're not getting any credits, you're not getting any cashback, nothing is going on right now. That is to acquire customer with a cost. And once the customer is used to it, like credit is a very good platform for credit card bill payment. I also personally use it. So to ignite that, to get customers to your product, that is the market customer acquisition cost that each company puts in by raising investment from the various investors. And that is where Paytm ka cashback and other things. But right now that has come down. They have got the user base. People are used to that technology and platform, and they won't leave now. So that is the reason. That's more of a customer acquisition cost that these companies put into, raise their, increase their customer base.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am, I have a hard stop. I have 3:30. I have a meeting, so I'm already a
Okay.
little late.
Right, sir.
So any other quick questions I'll
No,
take?
sir. No, sir. Thank you so much. No questions in the chat window to me. Thank you, Anubhav, sir. Actually, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thank
such clear insights on your particular entrepreneurship startup, how to do a startup. We had clear insights on how to actually prepare a product based on the customer as well, and how actually the role of incubators in helping the ideas to be generated. Thank you so much, Anubhav, sir, for your clear insights to our students. Thank you so much once again.
My pleasure. Thank you
Thank
for
you, sir.
having. Thank you so much. All the best to all of you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
ಈ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಟಿರೋದು
Ashwani, I am leaving.
Yes, Seema, ma'am.
Yes, I heard and